ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me okay in the audience? In the back? Even Ben? This is the February 3rd special meeting of the Town of Stonington Planning and Zoning Commission. It's 7 o'clock. I'll let the record reflect that we called the meeting to order on time. Chuck Sheehan, I'm the chairman of the commission. We have several items on the agenda tonight. We do have a time restriction on us in this room, so we have to keep things moving along. So if anyone has any long-winded speeches, I would ask that you submit your remarks in writing and try to the extent that you can to synopsize your remarks. I say that understanding that we want to hear what you have to say, very important to us, but by the same token, we have a contract on this room and we have to clear the premises. That means we have to have everything picked up. We have to be out of here by 10 o'clock. So we ask that you be respectful of that if you can, and be as brief as you can. If anybody goes on at great length, I'm going to ask you to summarize your remarks. With that in mind, we have all the regular members of the commission here this evening, so there's no appointment of alternates. What's the commission's pleasure on the minutes of December 16th?
Mr. Chairman, just to note, I did see that there is a request for an amendment submitted by Attorney Matt Ranelli.
Correct.
So I will make a motion to approve the minutes for meeting number 1811 from December 16, 2025, as submitted with to also include and make the change requested by Attorney Matt Ranelli.
Motion to approve, honoring the request of Attorney Matt Ranelli. Is there a second? Anyone wish to discuss this?
I'll second, but I think we should ask Alyssa because
It's not right. No, the amendment is not right.
Okay.
It is?
No,
Okay.
it's not right. The minutes are correct.
Okay, you think so?
Yes. So what I said was, I was, later on, I found I was mistaken because I did think that the applicant said that the bus was only going to stop on one side of the street.
Right.
And then during discussion, Ryan said, I think you misheard it. So the minutes are correct. Because the amendment was that I said that it was both sides.
Well, there's no better source than you to make
Right,
that comment.
I was going to make that comment.
I trust you on that comment.
Yes.
Very good.
So then
Okay.
I'll amend
No amendment.
the motion to remove the amendment changes that were submitted by Attorney Matt Ranelli and approve the minutes as written and submitted.
You okay with that, Dave, on the second?
I'm sure, yeah, it was perfect.
Okay.
Well, thank you for letting me clarify what I actually said.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains. Motion passes. Minutes are approved as is. No amendment. This is a point in the meeting where we allow the public to make comment on anything that's not on the agenda. Again, not on the agenda. If anyone would like to address the commission under this portion of the meeting, you have the mic. Hearing none, we'll move on to correspondence.
No correspondence, Mr. Chairman.
No correspondence, thank you. Any staff report?
Not until next week, not until the next meeting.
Anything for the good of the commission from any of the members? Everybody's seen the zoning enforcement violation report. No items for administrative review.
No, there's no report on zoning enforcement violations until your second meeting. I don't submit it for your special meeting.
Okay. Anything to note under enforcement and violation?
Not until your next meeting.
Okay. Just as well. Nothing under administrative review?
No, sir.
Item 7, public hearings. First item is, Ryan, would you just read the item A? You can just read it from the minutes here. I know we're reopening the hearing.
Yep. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to reopen the public hearing for PZ 2551RA, Town of Stonington, care of F. Gomes, IMG, zoning text amendment application for adoption of Phase 2 amendments for the comprehensive zoning regulations rewrite.
We have a motion to reopen. Is there a second?
Second motion.
Seconded by Gary. Thank you. Any discussion? I just have one point to note here in this public hearing. I'm sure we have a sign-up sheet, and I would just ask that you confine your remarks to new information. If someone has testified before with regard to a matter, rather than repeat it again for emphasis at this meeting, I would ask that you simply state what is new and not what you also stated at the last meeting. So with that in mind, we have our consultant, Francesco Gomes. Francesco, good evening.
Hello.
Thank you again for, I think this is our final session with you this evening. And we've gotten to know you quite well over the last 2.5 years with bi-monthly meetings at commissions, special sessions that were held for workshops. And I thank you for all of the careful and thoughtful work that you've done on these regulations. It certainly stands out, and it's an excellent document that's been prepared. It'll be a lot easier for the public to understand and a lot easier for the public to use. So thank you for 2.5 years of dedication to the task that you took on here.
Thank you, Chuck. It's been my pleasure.
Okay, so do you have anything I think you made your presentation previously, and I think this public hearing is just to receive additional comments. I know that you've made additional grammatical errors, and part of any motion that might be made tonight, I don't know how the commission feels about moving forward tonight, but if they do, I would ask that we give the staff the ability to make minor grammatical changes, as have been noted from some of our faithful members of the public that actually do very good work for us here. So unless you have further comments, I'm going to open it to public comment at this time.
Please do.
Okay, do we have a sign-up list?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so it's just from the red down, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, Jim Lathrop? Evening, James?
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it can't be on.
Where's over here?
Somebody
Charged? It might not be charged.
No, it hasn't been already.
Okay, now it's
What about the mic at the table?
It's working, the battery is
Oh, yeah, that's
completely
fine,
low,
that's fine.
it says.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
Oh,
Stop
hi.
being the first one.
Perfect.
My name is Jim Lathrop, and I'm here to ask for your support for specifically recommendation 21, better support of mixed-use residential in the PD5 district. The two changes you're proposing increase the share of residential permitted from 66 to 80% in a mixed-use development, and also dropping the lot area requirement to 1 unit per square foot of lot area versus 1,000. So PD5 was conceived over 10 years ago and implemented slightly less than 10 years ago with the James Vincent era. Somebody who had a lot of good ideas and someone who I worked with when I served on the town committee. It was designed to incentivize the redevelopment in what we used to call the Pawcatuck Bridge District, which is between the bridges and a little bit along the river. Unfortunately, after this was implemented, COVID happened within the next few years, and then there were some changes which were more permanent in the way commercial properties in small towns kind of got used. Retail space dropped in demand. Office space dropped even more in demand. Services picked up a little bit. You can only have so many restaurants given your population. So we're now looking at much more difficult to rent commercial spaces. And this is not just in Stonington, this is nationwide, it's in the Northeast quite a bit. So I think these changes reflect those changes. Now, by not eliminating the commercial requirement, but just dropping it to 20%, you're preserving the ability to have small storefronts. What people want in downtown Pawcatuck, what vendors want, what people who own shops or businesses want, is the ability to take advantage of the traffic count in Route 2 and Route 1. A little small space in the front is great. They don't want big spaces anymore. And what you have in that area is a lot of long, narrow buildings that extend to the rear of the lot quite a bit. So if you could take part of the back portion of the building and use it for residential, it's a better use. And there's demand for this use. So that's why I would say this is a worthwhile change. The second part of it is lowering the density requirement to 800 from 1,000. The dwelling units per 1,000 square feet of lot area dropping to 800. And I think this reflects the type of apartments or residential units that people want in this district. People aren't raising, well, I'd say not generally raising families in this area. There's a lot of 1 and 2 bedroom apartment demand. People who walk to work in downtown Westerly, Pawcatuck area, young professionals who work from home, walk up to the train station and go to Boston a couple of times a week, or New York or Stamford or something like that. That's who you're getting living in these areas, and it's dropping that requirement down to 800 allows a slightly greater number of smaller apartments, and that's what people want, the 1 and 2 bedroom apartments downtown. So in short, try to keep this quick for everybody. Adopting this amendment is a win for Pawcatuck, it's a win for Stonington. It'll help building occupancy, it'll drive capital into buildings down there, but I think it's just a win for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. That's the only name on the list. Would anyone else like to speak either for or against, offer any new remarks that haven't been made in the past, or just make a general comment on these regulations? Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a comment.
Just state your name if you would.
Jim Stanton. We're in a line of Jims tonight. I only briefly got to review the proposals, and one of the things that interests me is the square footage for apartments. It seems to me that for 20 years now, other cities have been doing micro apartments, small homes, and we don't have that here. And I think it would be very well received, and it's really necessary if you're working in a restaurant downtown and you don't want to live with your parents, it would be nice to have a 300 or 400 square foot apartment. And that might be hard to imagine when you're living in a 3,000 square foot house. But I moved down here 25 years ago. I've been a property owner here since 1981. And my apartment that I moved out of was 750 feet. That was a 2-bedroom. And I got to tour it the other month because I still own property near there, and or next door actually. And I got to tour it, and now it's a 3-bedroom apartment, 750 feet. And most people, single people, don't want that, or don't need that rather. No, they like it, but they can't afford it. And it costs $250 to $300 a square foot to build a Class A house now. So can you build an apartment building for less? Yes, if you go up, you can build it because you only have to pay for one foundation and one roof. But I would ask you to at least consider and maybe research the possibilities of having smaller apartments. I have a small piece of property in downtown Mystic. It's zoned M1. It doesn't qualify to be M1 because it's only 15,000 square feet. And it's had a house on it since 1929. I bought it to tear it down. I haven't done that yet because there's no feasible way that I can make an M1 work. And at one time, I was gonna take the house down and go straight up with apartments if we could change the zone, which kind of fell by the wayside with various changes of planners. I wanted to have one large apartment for my wife and I, maybe a visiting son, and then I had 4 senior citizens that were all clamoring for 4 apartments below me. So I know that there's a demand. This is going back a few years, but I had 2 neighbors and 2 relatives that would have loved to live in downtown Mystic. So I think there's a lot of demand, and I think 800 square feet is beyond the reach of retired people that would like to live here and they don't want to buy another house or can't afford to buy a house now here because the houses are so expensive. And certainly people starting out or working locally. So I just ask you to consider that, and that's my 2 cents. Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to make a comment? Anyone else? Hearing none, what's the commission's pleasure on closing the public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to close this public hearing.
I'll
Motion to
second.
close, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes, the public hearing is closed. What's the commission's pleasure on this item this evening?
Mr. Chairman, I know a lot of work has gone into all this and a lot of time. And I know there's some items that some on the commission and maybe even some in the public would like to see move forward, but I think some of those ones might need further study or discussion before being put forward as a proposed amendment. With that said, I think the current 37 proposed amendments have gotten general agreement from the public and from most of the commission. So I would like to make a motion to approve the 37 proposed amendments. I will go through the approval process one by one, as was suggested by Clifton Eiler, to make sure everybody's vote is properly recorded for each of the amendments, if that is acceptable.
Candy, are you okay with that also?
Sure.
That was Clifton's recommendation in
This
writing.
whole thing was Clifton's baby.
And I think if there's a challenge, perhaps,
I'll speak up.
would be easier to administer as well, so.
Okay.
Everybody fine with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there
I
a
guess we
second?
proceed, right?
Oh, okay. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the following 37 proposed amendments to the P&Z regulations. I'll begin with number 1. Do I need to read them out specifically or just, okay, let me find that list, I apologize.
I think just the title.
And then I'm going to find that too, I do apologize, I think I have that. Do you have that list handy?
I have it in front of me.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I mean, I can read them off if you
Okay,
just
yeah,
point to
sorry.
me. Yeah.
Apologies.
Recommendation 1 is remove single-family home exemption from the coastal area management overlay district.
Okay, so is there a second to,
Second?
second? Any discussion on the amendment?
I think on all of these, we're going to make the same motion
Yeah,
that,
just like make a motion to approve
that we
number 1.
approve it, but then staff can make
Yeah, and I
changes
think we
later,
vote
at a
on
later
each one
date.
as well,
Okay.
so. Each one, and that's, you won't get the benefit of individual motions if you don't vote on each one individually, so. Okay, so we have change number 1, made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes.
Next one is recommendation 2, eliminate section 17.3.4, locational approval of auto sales and service establishments.
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes.
Next one, R3, recommendation 3, amend validity of site plan application regulations.
Second?
Made and seconded. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains. Passes unanimously.
Okay, recommendation 4, amend commission action on site plan or special use permit.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 5, amend special use permit application requirements and procedure.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains. Motion passes unanimously.
Next one is recommendation 6, amend changes and modifications to an approved plan or special use permit.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 7, amend historic and cultural resource sites regulations.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains. Motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 8, amend the paper street regulations.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains. Motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 9, amend natural and unique features regulations.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains. Motion passes unanimously.
Recommendation 10, consolidate soil erosion and sedimentation control requirements.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains. Motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 11, update stormwater management standards and relocate technical standards from the regulations to the town's technical standards document.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
All right, next one,
Chair abstains. I'm sorry.
recommendation 12, provide a reference to Stonington's aquifer protection area regulations in the zoning regulations and update the aquifer protection area regulations.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains. Motion passes unanimously.
Next one, number 13, amend noise and vibration regulations.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains. Motion passes unanimously.
Recommendation 14, amend telecommunications antennas and towers regulations.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains. Motion passes unanimously.
Next one is recommendation 15, provide a regulation enabling third-party review.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains. Motion passes unanimously.
Recommendation 16, amend architectural design review regulations.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains. Motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 17, amend undersized lot regulations.
Second.
Staff would just like to note, there had been discussion on the last sentence in item B, that such a lot is not eligible for exemption described in item A, meaning if you still have an undersized lot, once you combine two lots, you lose the right to have that exemption. You're being punished for trying to make your lot more conforming, even though it's still too small for the zone. The regulation as it's written punishes those people, and really, they should get the same relief as somebody who's got an undersized lot that didn't change size. It's still undersized.
So how should it be changed?
Just remove the last sentence, such a lot is not eligible for the exemption described in item A above. Just remove that last sentence.
Make a motion to remove that last sentence from that.
Is there a second on that revision?
Second.
Made and seconded. we have a revised motion then, so, any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Move to the next group 2, recommendation 18, consolidate uses.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Next one's recommendation 19, expand range of permitted uses in commercial and industrial zones.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Recommendation 20, reduce permit application requirement for laundromats in the PV5.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Recommendation 21, better support mixed-use residential in the PV5.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 22, regulate adult-oriented establishments.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 23, update regulations for keeping of domestic animals.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Recommendation 24, provide more flexibility in the height and location of ground-mounted small solar energy systems.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 25, amend outdoor vendor regulations.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 26, reduce permit requirements for accessory dwelling units and clarify regulatory language.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 27, amend off-street parking regulations.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 28, amend permit requirements for off-street parking. I
Second.
just said that.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 29, update parking area landscaping standards.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 30, update buffer area and screening requirements and standards and bonding requirements for landscaping.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 31, establish a front yard landscaping requirement for commercial and industrial zones.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 32, update the flood hazard overlay district regulations to ensure consistency with state and federal guidelines.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 33, update the sign regulations.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Recommendation 34, expand the outdoor lighting regulations.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes, Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Next one, recommendation 35A, replace FAR standards with lot coverage limits.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, just quick, this one, I think we should just come back to this in 6 months and just check on it and make sure the numbers are correctly. This could be I'm a little concerned that this could have some farther reaching consequences than we're thinking of now. I know lots of other towns do it, but I think of like, if I have a small lot, I build a house, I'm gonna not pave the driveway, so I get more square footage in my house, for the house, and then, we don't need a permit to pave, so you can come back a couple of years later and pave. It's just, I'm just not sure how we regulate some of these items, but,
It comes back when someone wants to put an addition and they've done something like that, and the floor area ratio gets picked up, and now all of a sudden you got to landscape the driveway that you illegally paved.
Yeah.
You can do that with either system. The one thing that elimination of floor, and I don't disagree that coming back and checking on something that's a long-standing regulation like this is a bad idea. I think it's a very good idea. It's a check on, because we did have some feedback on this. And I think it's fair to those who have fed back that we do a little bit of an audit in 6 months to see how it's working. One thing that this will help tremendously is the state has adopted new stormwater management regulations through DEEP. It's all geared to lot coverage. And to stick with floor area ratio and have a competing regulation, the stormwater regulations, that deals with impervious coverage is going to be very difficult to administer. So I think that there are other benefits beyond the public will understand coverage better than they do floor area ratio. But I agree, Dave, I think it's a very good suggestion. Also, we give credit to those who brought it up and said that we've had this for a long time and we shouldn't go away from it. We do a mini audit after 6 months, and if there are any adjustments, we have to go through an amendment process.
Yeah, Candy will hear about it at ZBA.
She'll know.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, I guess it's sort of added to the minutes. And,
Yeah, I mean, we can approve it as is, but.
So was there a second to that? That was made under discussion, so there was a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Next one, R35B, provide a sustainability incentive.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
Recommendation 36, rezone the area between Cavendish Lane, Timber Ridge Drive, and Liberty Street.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously.
And the last one, recommendation 37, rezone the area at Alpha Avenue and Cutler Street.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously. Candy, do we have anything else to do under this item?
I do not believe so. Thank Mr. Gomez.
Can I just, can I make a general
Yes,
comment?
if I may, yes, if I may, is the commission in possession of the memo that I sent on December 10th of last year of 2025?
Can you give us a little bit more of a explanation or a title of that memo?
Yeah, it was in response to comments received when the public hearing was opened in December. And in response to Ms. Donoramo, who had identified several grammatical and Scrivener's issues with the recommended amendments. And I provided a comprehensive response on how those should be addressed in all the amendments that you've adopted this evening.
So would it be beneficial for us to make a motion to adopt that memo with those responses and the grammatical and other edits?
And
the staff
direct
can
the
make?
staff, direct the
Yeah,
staff to
to
make
follow
those
that
and
memo.
any other minor edits.
I think part of your motion
That's
was
what I
to,
thought.
that
To
the
do
staff
that.
was going to be
It
able
was
to
in
make
the
those
motion.
changes.
But I can call out specifically your memo also to incorporate.
Yeah,
those.
I appreciate if you put that on the record. I think it
Sure.
would be helpful to have an accurate record of how.
Should we have
these
another
amendments
motion?
were
Yeah,
adopted.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to also include as part of those approvals of the 37 items that the memo that was sent by Mr. Gomes with the recommendations for grammatical and other minor changes be followed, and the staff can implement those.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes unanimously. I'd just like to thank the commission for the last 2.5 years of very intense work. I know not everybody was with us for the full time, and not everybody that's here was there were others who served, and I don't want to name anybody because I'll leave someone out, but members past and present of this commission that were very committed to this process, members of the public who were very committed to this process, and thank the public for sticking with us. You know, all the fabulous input that we got through workshops, through the bi-weekly sessions that we had for the last 2.5 years, and I can't say enough about Francesco. You know, I think I summed it up earlier in the meeting. Your help was invaluable here, so thank you all. And I don't think there's any question that the document that this is so far superior to the document it replaces. It's a great benefit to the town moving forward.
And thank you, Chuck. And Chuck, before you move on to the next item on your agenda, I do recommend that you set an effective date of 30 days from today for the zoning regulations. That'll afford you an opportunity to get past the appeals period, and more importantly, give myself and my team time to codify all these amendments into your new zoning document.
Candy, does that work with advertising and everything?
Yeah, we only have to advertise, we only have to advertise for 15 days, not including the terminal days.
I know you've got a lot of projects that are sort of waiting for this to move
Correct.
forward. Does that?
I haven't been full.
Will that work for those
Yes.
projects? Okay. Do we need a motion for that?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to set the date for these, the new 37 items to be implemented and take effect as part of the P&Z regulations for, I'll say, March 4th. I think that would cover 30 days.
That's correct.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
I made March 4th, 2025, just to be specific. Or
2026,
2026, sorry.
2026.
Yep.
Who was the second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Chair abstains. Motion passes unanimously. Anything else on this item, Candy?
No, sir.
I have a comment,
Please.
question, discussion, I don't know. There were so many things that we didn't get to or that we wanted more discussion on, and I would really like to see at some point we come up with a plan on how we're going to move forward on the things that were sort of set aside during this process. We have 37, but I think there's probably 100 that we haven't.
Correct.
We've moved to sort of that some were way like pushed out, but some were back burner. Let's study this in more depth. And do we have a way of, do we have a plan on how we're going to address those? And could we come up with a plan?
I think the commission needs to discuss it.
Yeah.
And there were no doubt some very good recommendations that just were not fully vetted, either publicly or I think even from a technical standpoint, but that are deserving of further attention. I think we have a good list of those, and should be an agenda item on a
Yeah,
commission.
how we're going to attack that. Could we put that on a future agenda?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Then I think we move on to item B. This is a reopening of a public hearing, so I don't think we need to read the ad.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to reopen the public hearing for PZ 254 SUPT Chimento.
Motion made to reopen the Chimento public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Public hearing is reopened. I believe we were at a point where, had you reserved time to rebut? Is that where we're at in this? It's been a while.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Attorney Rob Levine, Assistant Shapiro. We just have a short rebuttal for tonight. We've digested the comments from the previous hearing. We'll have a couple of comments from our staff here. I just wanted to add that most of what we went through we felt was not relevant at the hearing was that, as you know, the retaining wall already exists, as well as the foundation of the house under a permit that was issued back in March. We have a zoning permit for this project. This is simply, under your standards, an additional special permit was required in order to go ahead and complete a section of the wall that will be a bit higher to accommodate the requirement that we keep the drainage off the neighbor's property. And so that is why we are here tonight. The staff report is something that we accept. We accept the comments in the staff report and are willing to abide by those conditions. So tonight with me is the engineer, Jason Reynolds, and he will quickly go through some of the comments that we received last month, basically about our topography, our A2 survey, and the existing drainage plan that we will be using.
Thank you. Jason Reynolds, Reynolds Engineering Services, and Rob Hellstrom Land Surveying. So you've seen the survey and site plan that we prepared previously. Just really quickly, in blue on the site plan, that is a section of the wall in question that is proposed to be in excess of 59 inches. It's about 84 linear feet, so just that section, that's why we're here seeking the special use permit. The whole idea is that we're going to have positive drainage away from the structure and direct runoff to the rear of the property where the dry well is proposed. That is the purpose for having the wall's height in excess of 59 inches right along that westerly side there. There were some questions last meeting in December, I believe, about the vertical datums. There seemed to be some confusion about elevation above sea level. As is pointed out on the plans, these are based on an assumed vertical datum, so that's pretty common for projects of this nature. The other questions about aerial photogrammetry versus field topo. What you have before you here is a field survey, topographic accuracy class T2, which is sort of the gold standard for any development project. That means that this was based upon real ground shots, about 200 ground shots on site, and all that T2 means, not to bore anybody here, but if you were to run a test cross-section, you'd find that those elevations were 85% or more within half of the contour interval. So this is very accurate site planning topography, which we do for almost every single proposed development site. Very common, very typical, and again, this is the gold standard for any kind of survey work in Connecticut. That's most of the questions that we had there, and again, it's just that section in blue that we're proposing in excess of that 59 inches. So if there's any other questions, or if I can help to provide clarity on the site plan, I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. I think one of the things that the neighbor's attorney brought up, or they showed some pictures that said the wall didn't have a proper foundation. Have you got your, are you going to stamp this? Is this, or do you have to? Does this have a foundation, or if it needs one?
Yeah, Charles is the structural engineer who did the retaining wall design, so I'll let him speak to that. Yep.
Good evening. Charles Elias, professional engineer. I did the structural design for the retaining wall. The As you know, the retaining wall has a gravel crushed stone foundation underneath it. The question was as to the depth of the foundation. The foundation was prepared to the proper depth, and as usual, when you fill a trench, at the sides of the wall, the foundation has some loose stone, which is less than the 36-inch required, which is not supporting the retaining wall. The retaining wall stone underneath the wall is to the proper depth, and basically it was constructed per acceptable standards. The other thing I would like to note is that in order to obtain that sample, someone had to go onto Mr. Chimento's property without his permission. And that raises a concern with me that I don't know what was done to damage our property. It's an issue that I am concerned about, and I think that needs to be noted. Thank you.
I think the question was, did you stamp the drawing also?
Yes.
Yeah, or
Yes, yes,
whatever
yes.
you have to do to get it through the town engineer.
Okay.
Are we good? Yeah.
So
And I think we have a town engineer's memo on this too.
Yeah.
going back to the, sort of on that same line, there was no geotechnical study done on this, on the back pressure against that wall with the
Yes,
house?
there was.
There was a geotechnical study, not a structural? I didn't see it.
I did calculations on the wall based on the existing soil type there. Does that answer your question? Obviously not.
Not really.
It was submitted with the original.
Well, the foundation, not the wall itself. So I'm not debating the foundation of it, I'm debating the slope stability, the stability of the wall.
Okay, that was all calculated.
Okay.
The building code requires a factor of safety of 1.5 for that wall. I designed to a factor of safety of 2.
Any other question? No.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Does that conclude your rebuttal?
That does, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your time.
Does the commission have any other questions of the applicant?
I just, whatever you did to make this wall less obtrusive to the neighbor, like, less, it's huge, you know, like what's been
Yeah,
done to
we've,
it, like.
a couple ideas that we've kicked around is some type of, you can't really put a coating on there. We could do some type of paint coating, but you have to leave open the slats that are within each concrete block. The other we discussed with staff is whether we do some type of planting that would grow on our side and then come up over the top to drop down the wall. So we're open to these suggestions of trying to defer a little bit of the size of the wall as to that side.
Is there room for planting in front of it?
I'd like to
Go ahead.
I'd like to speak on that. Yeah, how you doing? I'm the owner, Tony Chimento. The wall is on the property line, so to put bushes or anything in front of the wall, there's no room on my property. So either way, irregardless of fit or finish, the height of the wall needs to be raised. I'd like to do it in one single plane, using the existing footing, following the engineering documents they already have approved. If this doesn't get approved or whatever the case is and my efforts are denied, I tear the wall back 1 inch past the highest rung, which is 61 inches, and I could keep tearing back unlimited without any approvals, decoration, amendments, or anything. I'm trying to do it the right way, to do it in one line, even, and I'd be amendable to some type of ivy or something, coloring, whatever the case is, but either way I need to retain the land. Whether it's all high at the same spot or it steps back and tears back, I don't have an option, right? So I'd like to try to make it as appealing as possible. It will have a black aluminum fence on top. If in the facts of the tiers, if whatever happens, I could also do plantings in there or do some type of open French drain with crushed granite, but there is no denying the fact that the faces of the blocks will be seen at a height, whether it's all in line or step back, the blocks are gonna be there. Just a matter of, how.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, I mean, it's ugly. If somebody put this next door to your house, you'd be pretty pissed too. I mean, I can understand why the neighbor's not happy, but could you put like a stone finish on it or something? You can't because, what, do you need drainage through the cracks? Is
It would
that
encroach over the property line.
It would,
Yeah, no, not even that it would encroach over the property line. The blocks are separated by gaps, they're chamfered. You can't span those gaps with like a thin set of stone or some type of fabricated stone. They call them like kind of lick and stick stones where you butter the back and put them on. I mean, you can't, if there's any kind of movement or anything, the stones will just fall. I mean, so the only option could be a live planting that hangs over the top and in time will grow and cover, or a synthetic ivy that they use sometimes in commercial applications for dumpster enclosures or something. It's just very expensive and it's very cost prohibitive. So again, I have to come up with some type of solution, but either way, I need the height. I need the height of blocks. How it's finished or decorated.
I guess my question, this doesn't have anything to do with the application, but if you could have done it in tiers, why, it sounds like that would have been so much easier than going through all this trouble to get our approval.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an option, but that's a plan B for me, right? So I like things that are in straight lines. I don't want to have to redo footings. I don't want to have to redo public documents that are open for appeal from neighbors to stop construction for nonsense. So I tried to go in with my first initial want to try to do this off the existing footing with the engineering documents. But if it doesn't, at some point I'll be exhausted to decide what to do, and I could tear it back. That's not my first option.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any comments on this application? Chief?
Okay to sit down.
Yeah, please. Just make sure the mic is on.
Don't hear me. First of all, my name's Kevin Burns from Pawcatuck, Garden Street in Pawcatuck. Couple of things that was said here, deceiving and misleading. One is, and it's on your staff report, that the building official has not replied on your staff report, and he is the person that needs to stamp and review the engineering and approve and also inspect that wall to be built. The Connecticut State Building Code, I believe, says if you have a 30-inch block, which they are using, if you're gonna step them, you have to step them half the distance of the block. So they're not gonna step them an inch. They're gonna step them 15 inches. Okay? So that's what you're gonna end up with for a wall. Now to go a little further, I'm gonna be quick at this. The planning department offered the following comments in this, and I think I just hit on it. The application for the special use for the buffer requirements under 781C and D, buffer requirements, special use related for being established, not for site feature retaining walls. Well, that's incorrect, because site feature retaining walls don't need a special use permit, but specifically under 12.9 of your regulations, major retaining walls over 5 feet do require a special use permit. That's why we're here. Now, just so in case you don't know, the Planning and Zoning Commission finds that retaining walls of significant height, over 5 feet, located close to a property line, have a potential for negative impact on adjacent property owners, public infrastructure, environmental resources, and these potential impacts include erosion, sediment, stormwater flooding, and aesthetic concerns for the neighbors. Okay? Part B1 under that says that the construction of new major retaining walls of 5 feet or more shall require a special use permit. Shall. So it has to happen, even though the report you received from staff said it didn't need to be, it does need to be. And where she calls out in section 7.8, specifically 7.81, she calls out that C and D do not apply. That's incorrect, because if the SUP is required under that regulation that you said shall have an SUP, then it needs to meet C and D, which they can't, because it needs 25 feet for all special use permits. That means it needs to be 25 feet from the property line, and they don't have that room. D, the screening strip for all new constructions adjoining a single-family use or residential zone. So they need the screening. Because he built this wall on the property line, or whatever the reason was, it's not an excuse to circumvent the regulations that are here. I'll go back to the last meeting that we discussed, they discussed this. I'm not part of them, I'm a citizen from Pawcatuck. It requires under C, a special use permit application for a major retaining wall and a building setback shall address potential negative impacts on adjacent property owners, public infrastructure, on and on and on, including aesthetics. The only impact statement he had was what he was being impacted by water on his property. He never addressed the neighbors and the aesthetics that they were going to be imposed with. He did not supply any information on that, just that he needed the wall to keep the water on his property. That's too bad. This says that he needs to be concerned about the neighbors. Now, my last thing is, if you allow me, Mr. Chairman, can I hand out a couple papers to the commission so they can review? Once I know what I'm talking about. Mike wasn't running up there. Okay. Please, just, start on the right or whatever, the chairman's in the middle. These documents also, you will find that were probably not submitted as part of your staff report. And I'll start off by reading my narrative first, and then I'll get into this. Let me be really quick though. A zoning permit was issued on March 19th, 2025. That is where Mr. Avina is correct. He's correct about that. For a single-family residence, that's page 1 of the papers I just gave you. All right? A building permit for a 2-family home was issued on 4/3/25, and that's page 2 that you're looking at. And on 11/12, 2 months ago, 25, an amended zoning permit was issued for a single-family residence with an attached accessory dwelling unit. Okay? So, although we're talking about a plan, according to Mr. Avina, that the permit's been in place for a long time, this project has legs that have been running down the zoning road. Okay? offers to use the ADU regulation 632, excuse me. It says, offers an ADU use in 3 circumstances. One, within a primary dwelling unit on a piece of property, single family. It can be within that unit, and it can be within that unit, number 2, with an addition, in case you needed to put an in-law bathroom or another bedroom on. Or it can be an accessory building. It can be a detached building, but the detached building has to have landscape on all 4 sides. Okay? The CEO's amended permit to have a single-family residence with an attached ADU makes this a 2-family home on a 10,000 square foot lot in an RH10. And if you look at the site map, this was shot with a drone on November 16th, I believe it was. And if you look, there's an orange highlighted thing. It didn't come out very bright on there. That is what they consider the ADU. However, look at the foundation. This is the foundation. There is a solid foundation wall from front to back, or side to side, whatever you want to call it, from bottom to top. This building is separated. This building is not part of the primary residence, and it's not a detached unit. This is part of a structure, and that's one of 2 dwellings in that structure. And if you look in the regulations, I don't know the one right offhand, that equals a 2-family home, which requires in an RH10, 20,000 square feet. If you look at that picture a little deeper, you'll see towards the street that you can see on the right-hand side, depending on how you're looking at it, but there's a street on the right-hand side, you see 2, it looks like white. It's a Y that comes from each part of the building. That's the sewer laterals coming out of the building, indicating that there's 2 separate sewer systems for this building, going out into the main street. And that's because each individual unit has its own system. That solid wall there, you can't see it here, but there are pockets in the foundation. And what the pockets in that foundation do is that's the carrying beam from one end to the other. And that is to support the building. And if you look at this, both have their own support systems. You can see the footings on the floor. They're a little whiter than the rest of the concrete. This building is being built for 2 dwelling units in one structure. This is a 2-family home. That's all I have.
Thank you. Just note that the 2 laterals coming out are joined into one.
That's fine, that's going into the street, but you're still paying, there's two separate systems because of 2 separate water systems.
Understood. Thank you, Chief. Anyone else wish to speak either for or against, or make a general comment?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commission members.
Good evening.
Attorney Mark Keppel, representing Randy and Michael Harrington, adjoining property owners. Just a couple of housekeeping items. I wanted to provide the chair with a reference to the T1 and T2 survey requirements, along with a letter that was submitted but wasn't given to the commission, as well as a written report by Mr. Tebbetts, our zoning and building.
Can everybody hear Attorney Keppel?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Sorry.
If you're going to use that mic, you have to, I think, sit down.
Okay.
Or get in close proximity to it, if you don't. Thank you.
No, I wanted to tell the chair I'm going to limit my comments to less than 5 minutes. So, just so you have that. So these 3 items I wanted to present to the chair just as housekeeping items. And I spent a long time exchanging with the chair last time about the survey. And the point I was trying to make is that the survey that was presented with the application was not of the existing conditions of the land on the date it was served. It was submitted. So it's not the topo criteria, it's the fact that you present a plan that has proposed conditions versus existing. So those are the 3 items that I mentioned.
Okay, thank you.
And then I had an amended, memorandum or memo in opposition to the application. And I'll just quickly summarize what that says.
Thank you.
I cannot underscore the importance of what happened on February 13th when Mr. Chimento went to visit Ms. Palmer seeking a zoning permit. It was stated at the first hearing by one of the commission members, the question was asked, how this came in front of this commission after the start of construction. And it was also asked, is there another way to proceed with the wall? Now, when he went in there with his site plan, it showed on the site plan the location of an 8.5-foot wall on the property line. And the application said, do you require any other approvals of zoning? And the answer was no. And the only reason that the application was approved was because right next to this 8-foot wall was a notation that says the wall height shall not exceed 4 feet 11 inches. Now, I've consulted with zoning enforcement officers in other towns, and my understanding, supported by their opinion, is that if you walk into a zoning office and you apply for a zoning permit and you don't comply with all the regulations, you don't get the permit. If your side yard is required 10 feet and you only have 5, you go and you get a variance. And if you're lucky enough to get that variance granted, then you come back. So the issue is, should the permit have ever been issued in the first place? My opinion is that when Mr. Chimento came in, Mrs. Palmer should have said, this looks like a major retaining wall. This is something that doesn't comply with zoning. You need to go to the Planning and Zoning Commission and apply for a special use permit. But instead of having to do that, by putting that notation that the wall would not be higher than 4 feet 11 inches, that meant the wall, the 8-foot wall, represented not to be taller than 5 feet, made the application compliant with zoning. So now we come back almost a year later, and Mr. Chimento is in effect presenting you not with an application, but with an ultimatum. He's said that he doesn't have any options. He's got to put the wall here. It's got to be 8 feet in order for him to finish his project. Well, my response to that is that you put yourself in that position by not representing accurately that the wall, the 8-foot wall that was on that site plan, was going to be more than 5 feet. That provided him with an avenue to do all the construction and come back here with, in effect, an ultimatum. So it's very important that you recognize what that application said and why it led to the concerns and the ultimatum that you're now faced with. The second and last point that I want to make is that this commission made a factual finding about the impact of a significantly high wall on an abutting property owner. And the chair was on the commission back in 2020 when they asked the planning director to draft a regulation so that this issue that was recognized by the commission could be addressed. And that regulation imposes a duty upon the commission to recognize that negative impact that they legislated a remedy for, and to implement that into their review and approval of applications for major retaining walls. And you have done that. Since 2020, you have approved major retaining walls. There is no instance in which those retaining walls were on the immediate property line. There is no instance where those applications did not submit a landscaping plan, or at least acknowledge some adverse impact and suggest some mitigation to offset that adversity. It would be an abomination for this commission to approve an 8-foot concrete wall on the boundary of the property, given that you recognize this issue, you legislated a regulation to protect it, and it has been your policy to implement that. They make reference to the Lemke application, where a retaining wall was built in the buffer area. But it was done after extensive discussions, 2 or 3 landscape architect plans, engineering plans, all of that. So before you're presented with an ultimatum, ask yourself how you got here, and ask yourself whether it's more important to protect the property owners by a problem that you recognized and took action on, or just be left with no recourse but to allow him to do what he proposes to do. And I think that would be a shame and an injustice. And thank you very much for your time.
Anyone else wish to make a comment on this application? You desire any rebuttal time?
No, we thank your time on this, Mr. Chairman. Again, they're trying to relitigate the entire permit that was approved over 9 months ago now, and we don't think that's relevant. Much of the testimony time was not relevant, and certainly wasn't relevant to the rebuttal, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Before you close the public hearing.
No, I'm not going to. I'm going to allow you an opportunity to speak, because I know there's another side to this. Go ahead.
Mr. Burns kept stating she wrote this staff report. For the record, it was actually written, the original staff report was written by Clifton Eiler, and it clearly states it on the header of the staff report. It was then subsequently amended by me just to add on new information that was submitted, and then it was amended again by Tyke. So there's actually 3 people who have had their hands in on this. And the Department of Planning comments regarding the buffer requirements for special use permits was actually written by Clifton Eiler, and I agreed with it, and obviously so did Tyke, that buffer requirements for special use permits relating to the use being established, not site features like retaining walls. The Commission has previously applied a similar interpretation to the retaining wall special use permit, if you remember Yellowfin Road. Yes, they did have the room to do some shrubs there, but they also had a much larger buffer that they couldn't meet because they were an RA40 as opposed to an RH10. So that's the first item. Mr. Burns is under the understanding that this is a 2-family. This is actually a single family with an accessory dwelling unit. The building department does not differentiate between accessory dwelling units and 2 families. It's 1 family, 2 family, 3 family, because they have the same separation requirements, whether it's accessory dwelling unit that we call it, or a second family is what they call it. Okay, and yes, there is no report by the building department. In all the years I've been here, I've never seen one. They usually don't review them. I wish they would, because it would be a lot easier when it comes to zoning permit time, when they're picking things up at that time. And as far as the application is concerned, which was submitted by Mr. Burns, yes, the original application only said construction of a single-family residence. However, the application itself did say with an accessory dwelling unit. When the zoning permit was typed up, it didn't have the accessory dwelling unit on it, and we didn't catch it until an appeal was filed. And that's when we amended it to reflect the correct application. So there was certainly nothing toward, underhanded done about that. In fact, I fell on my sword and amended this application.
Thank you, Ken. Unless anyone else has any comments, with the appropriate motion to close is in order.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to close the public hearing for this application.
Motion to close, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes. Public hearing is closed. What's the commission's pleasure on this application?
Mr. Chairman, I'm just going to make this comment because I feel I want to. I'm going to make a motion just to put something on the table for the commission to discuss. So I don't want everybody to take it. I'm literally on the fence about this particular application. But so I will make a motion, and also to confirm, there are waivers requested and a special use permit. Can I make a motion, one motion for both?
Can I just say before you make a motion, I feel like we got a lot of new information that we should review, and I kind of feel like we should hold off till the next meeting to vote on it, but.
Is that the?
Do we have time, Kenny?
Yeah, that was not.
As long as the public hearing is closed, you have
Public hearing is closed.
65 days to render a
Okay,
decision.
let's do that.
I mean,
That's fine, that's
yeah,
fine.
sorry,
Yeah.
I just want to give it
That's a good-
due
that's a good
diligence,
point.
yeah.
I agree with you.
That's a good point.
So do we need to vote, just the public hearing's closed and we don't need a further motion?
We don't need to, it's just deferred until the next.
Correct.
Okay. Moving on to old business. Item A. PZ 25525D, application of M. Francorp, Kennelly Engineering LLC. Subdivision application for the subdivision of a 38.952 acre parcel, property located at Peacock Trails. Is there someone here from Kennelly Engineering? Yes. Evening, sir. I do. Here we go. I would have walked away with these, Ken.
Not sure if this works. Does that work?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I didn't see the
he
green
said
light.
the battery was
Yeah.
showing low.
Hold on, the charge.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, my name is Norm Tebow. I'm a licensed professional engineer representing Michael Francoeur this evening for
Evening, sir.
a proposed two-lot subdivision with
switch that over.
That, with access from Pequot Trail. The subdivision has been approved by the Inland Wetlands Commission. We also went to the Zoning Board of Appeals for this to utilize an existing driveway that was on the site. For the GB 130 zone, per your regulations, no activity is permitted within 100 feet of wetlands, and there is an existing driveway that is utilized to access the site. We actually presented a 1934 aerial photograph of this driveway that was in existence going back to 1934, so it has been used to access the site for quite some time. That driveway will be utilized to the site to access the rear lot and a front lot as well. The two lots that we're proposing, it's a 38.952 acre parcel. Lot number one, which has the frontage along the roadway, is 6.311 acres, and the rear lot is going to be 26.675 acres. With this, we are also proposing open space of 5.966 acres. Now, going through your lot proration computations for lot one, which is the 6.311 acre parcel, the total lot area, 274,908 square feet. Of that, 80,574 square feet is wetlands. So the percentage of wetlands on that site is 29.3%. Per section 12.9A of the zoning regs, 60% of those wetlands is countable for lot area. 60% of the 80,574 is 48,344. So therefore, 32,296 square feet are not countable for the total lot area. When we prorate the lot, the area is 242,612 square feet. 130,000 is required. For the rear lot, which is the 26.675 acre parcel, the total lot area in square feet is 1,161,963 square feet. Of that, 285,148 square feet are wetlands, which is 24.54% of the parcel. Once again, 60% of that, 171,089 square feet. So the prorated lot area is 1,047,904 square feet, and for a rear lot, 260,000 are required. The conceptual subdivision layout for the well and septic systems has been approved by the Ledgely Health District. As you can see here, the shaded area that you see on this map here is the proposed open space. After a couple of different iterations with it, and speaking with staff here, we originally had proposed to do a fee in lieu of open space, but the Avalonia Land Conservancy actually has some property that abuts this, so it just made sense to dedicate the open space adjacent to that. The 15% of the total parcel area of the 38.952 acres would be 5.84 acres, and we are proposing 5.966 acres. Per section 8.1.3, a minimum of 7.5% of the soils in the open space shall be non-wetland. Required non-wetland soils area is 0.447 acres, and we have provided 2 acres of non-wetland soils, so we do meet that criteria. The driveway that I talked about is located here on Pequot Trail. It'll be a shared driveway. The frontage lot, the 6-acre lot, we're showing a single-family home here, and the rear lot, the 28-plus acre lot, will have an easement over that driveway
to get to the rear lot. That the only disturbance in that driveway, it will be left as a gravel driveway. We will widen it to the minimum 16 feet wide at the beginning for the shared portion of it, and the remainder of it will go to the rear lot, rear number 2. We are proposing underground utilities, and that would be the only disturbance within that driveway. One thing I think that is that is very advantageous is that the driveway is flanked by stone walls on both sides. So any activity within that gravel driveway, the potential impact to wetlands there is very limited. We are showing silt fence to protect those areas, as shown in the heavy dark lines on the plans. And this would be the main lot, lot number 2, where Mr. Frank Core is going to be building his home. And we are showing the proposed house well and septic on that site, along with a couple of areas where some rain gardens are going to be proposed. We did have some comments from Mr. Trinkus in engineering regarding stormwater management. Essentially, he wanted to see things like some areas where the silt fence was extended, provide some rain gardens for the roof water, and so forth. We did do that. He came back with a couple of minor comments and some clarifications that he said you could certainly condition an approval that would address me, that would encompass me addressing those last couple of comments that he has. Which are fairly simple. He's basically looking for some volumes at each elevation of the rain gardens to make sure that we comply with the minimum requirements. I think aside from that, I believe that we've addressed all other staff comments. I think the last big item on our part was to get everyone getting on the same page with regard to the open space versus the fee and lieu of open space, and we have addressed that. So I'd be happy to answer any questions this commission may have.
Any questions from the commission for the applicant's engineer? Candy, any comments?
None at all. I've lived through the variance and the wetlands on this application.
Okay, fine. Okay. Hearing none, I think the matter is closed. There is no opportunity for public here to comment on this. What's the commission's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve this application as submitted with the following 3 stipulations. Number 1, final plan shall be reviewed to the satisfaction of the town planner and zoning enforcement officer. Number 2, prior to the issuance of a zoning permit, the final plan shall be signed by the commission and recorded in town land evidence records. And number 3, the applicant shall address and respond to the town engineer's additional comments and recommendations.
Motion made with 3 conditions by Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the application?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains. Matter passes unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. Second item under old business, PZ 2553 CAM Shore Design application of, or I guess K Roca. I see, Art, is this your item? It's not. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you're on the back. Apologize. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My name is David Preventure with Shore Design and the owners of 54 Harborview Terrace.
Need a microphone.
Yeah, and use the microphone.
We're able to bend this up and stand. Yes. Good evening, David Preventure, Shore Design.
Evening.
Yeah, put it on.
Hello.
Yes,
So David Preventure with Shore Design. So we've been hired by the owners of 54 Harborview Terrace to design and obtain all the necessary coastal permits to repair a section of waterfront bulkhead. And to date, we've received permits from the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, the United States Army Corps of Engineers, and a letter of no effect from the State Historic Preservation Office. So we're here before you tonight asking for approval of the coastal site plan. Just to get our bearings on the site, so we're up at the far reach of Lambert's Cove. And there's actually a continuous stone masonry bulkhead, predates 1965, that fronts the entire shoreline here. And there's a section of about 28 linear feet of bulkhead that collapsed several years ago. And the state identified that as a concern. They notified the owner, and the owner took action to hire us to rectify the situation. Some photos on the right here. You can see what's happened is that a section, about a 28-foot section, has collapsed into the cove. So this area here, and that's the complete focus of the project. So here's the existing condition site plan, and again, the focus is just right there at the water's edge. So zooming into the proposed site plan. So again, 28-foot section has failed, but we're looking to replace a 42-foot section going 7 feet additionally on either side to get the sound wall. So it's that stretch right there. All work will be coming in by land, working at low tide. And the proposed solution is a concrete block wall. Same footprint, same height, no change with those dimensions at all. Be happy to answer any questions.
What's the height of the wall?
So the height from ground level is almost 9 feet. And that's consistent around the entire existing wall.
And how much freeboard from mean low water or mean high water?
It's probably about 6 feet of freeboard above mean high.
And the 100-year flood?
Is over the top of the wall.
Okay, by how much?
About 2 feet.
Does the design contemplate that over time?
It does. It does.
No further questions from me. Anyone else have any questions of the applicant?
So you're gonna go from fieldstone, break it off, then concrete block, and then back to fieldstone?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did a lot of
It's the
work to
most
get this
cost-
permit, looks good.
Yeah, it's the most cost-effective way to solve this failure.
How long did it take to get it through the Corps of Engineers?
It's a good question. I'm going to guess about 4 or 5 months once we file.
As long as that sounds, it seems quick.
That's pretty fast.
They did a good job.
Wow, they're actually been pretty quick lately.
If there are no other questions from the commission, Candy, any comments?
No, sir.
Okay. What's the commission's pleasure on application PZ 2553, CAM Shore Design?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the application with the following 4 stipulations. Number 1, any proposed alterations or modifications to the approved site plan as a result of comments from the floodplain manager, CTD, or town engineer shall be subject to review and approval by the town planner and commission as necessary. Number 2, final plan shall be reviewed to the satisfaction of the town engineer. Number 3, prior to the issuance of a zoning permit, the final plan shall be signed by the commission and recorded in the town land evidence records. Number 4, the applicant shall post an erosion and sedimentation control bond prior to the issuance of a zoning permit. The bond shall be either in the form of a certified check or a revocable letter of credit meeting the requirements of ZR 15.4.3. The bond amount shall be established by the town engineer after an estimate of the cost of installing and maintaining appropriate erosion and sedimentation control measures is provided by the applicant and approved by the town engineer. Work shall remain bonded for a minimum of 1 year from the date of zoning compliance.
Does the applicant agree with all those conditions?
Yes.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Thank you, Commissioner. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Now we hear from Art. Old business, item C, application PZ 2555 Cam Dean/Drummond, River Road, Arthur Hayward.
Haven't seen you in a long time.
I know, how are you?
Better than I should be.
Nice to see you.
It's been a long night. I'm going to make it brief.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is a CAM application. The property is owned. Oh, sorry.
It's on.
It's on? Yeah. Okay. The property is zoned RA 15, which is a 15,000 square foot minimum lot size. It's served by water, sewer, electricity, etc. The property is about 1.45 acres. It's a pretty good sized piece of property. The property also has land on the easterly side of River Road that abuts the coastal edge of the Pawtucket River. We're not proposing anything for there at this time. This property used to have a house on it. I was in the fire department when it burned down, but I don't remember being there. But the house is long since gone, and what we want to do is do a single family home residence. It's a very modest building, and we have inland wetlands permit, and we discovered that we had to come to the Planning and Zoning Commission with CAM. Normally CAM goes to the state only, but the state of Connecticut has changed that, I think.
Well, actually, just to clarify, this was out of the 100 foot because of the new changes in the state law. Now they need CAM.
Yeah. So basically, it's the house is near the road. We're far enough away from the wetlands. We've had we had the Wetlands Commission out there. Just wanted you to know that going forward, the town of Stonington has its own application for CAM, and Section 2 is the project site plans. So that's what I had done. I had submitted everything based on the CAM application with site plan. The town evaluated this based on a type 1 site plan where you, in your zoning regulation, if type 1, type 2, type 1 doesn't need an A2 survey and other elements. This meets a type 1 site plan. Once I got comments back, I could see what was happening, that they were evaluating it on something that is not part of the CAM application. But we do, we meet with that. I've addressed all of the zoning comments. I've addressed finished the Class A2 survey, and the town assistant engineer said everything was fine with him, but he would like to us to come back with we had a rain garden just like the other application, but he would like to see more detail later. And he said it could be a function of the stipulation of the approval. So I don't want to beat a dead horse. If you have any questions for me, I'm here.
The assistant town engineer and the town engineer signed off on that as a condition of approval, correct?
Correct.
Yes. Anyone have any questions of Arthur Hayward? Hearing none, what's the commission's pleasure on the Dean Drummond application?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve this application with the following five stipulations. Number one, applicant shall address outstanding comments to the satisfaction of the Water Pollution Control Authority, floodplain manager, town engineer, and town planner as applicable. Number two, any proposed alterations or modifications to the approved site plan as a result of comments from the floodplain manager, CTD, or town engineer shall be subject to review and approval by the town planner and commission as necessary. Number three, final plan shall be reviewed to the satisfaction of the town engineer. Number four, prior to the issuance of a zoning permit, the final plan shall be signed by the commission and recorded in the town's land evidence records. Number five, the applicant shall post an erosion and sedimentation control bond prior to the issuance of a zoning permit. The bond shall be either in the form of a certified check or a revocable letter of credit meeting the requirements of ZR 15.4.3. The bond amount shall be established by the town engineer after an estimate of the costs of installing and maintaining appropriate erosion and sedimentation control measures is provided by the applicant and approved by the town engineer. Work shall remain bonded for a minimum of 1 year from the date of zoning compliance.
Motion to approve with conditions. Does the applicant agree with the conditions?
Yes.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Thank you both. Candy, just before we vote on this, I'm sorry, I should have asked for your comments. Do you have any comments at all?
None at all, but I will say that I spoke with the town engineer, Chris Greenlaw, today, and he said that regardless of the new lot, they really don't want to see any of these PM applications unless they're within 100 feet.
Okay.
They can't keep up.
Thank you. So noted. Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, Arthur.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next item, item D, application PZ 2601 VR Mystic Apartments 2, David Latazuri applicant, bond release, and I believe we have a letter from the town engineer on this.
Hopefully it's in your packet. Yeah, it should be the last page.
Right. One question on this, Candy. When we approve this, this is the apartments, correct? The second apartment building?
Correct.
When we approve this, it was put on the record that, and I know this is the sediment and erosion control bond, so I don't think it covers this, but I want to raise the point because the work hasn't been done yet. We wanted the wall adjacent to the street that this fronts on, rebuilt from end to end on the site. And a portion of it has been rebuilt, but not all of it. And does this bond cover that work or no?
I honestly could not tell you. I don't have the answer to that. Sorry.
I don't think the sediment and erosion control bond does cover that. I think it's a site improvement, so I don't think it's pertinent. But I don't want that item to get lost. It's in the record of approval that the wall was supposed to be rebuilt, the full wall, and only about a third of it is done. And the part that remains is unsightly. I don't think the commission was unreasonable.
Do you want to table this?
What's that?
Do you want to table this so I can find the answers for you?
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea because I don't think we have a clear-cut answer whether it's
Yeah.
covered by this or not.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So this will be deferred to the next meeting. Is everybody taking a look at future meetings? Do we have to make a motion to accept these applications?
Yes.
Okay, so under item 9, the acceptance of application A. Ryan?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the acceptance of the application under item 9.
Motion made, second.
Second.
And seconded. Thank you, commissioners. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Approved unanimously. Unless there's anything else to come before the commission.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adjourn this hearing.
Motion to adjourn, no second required. All in favor?
Aye.
No one opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.